Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Bayou Bets, our Thursday edition. As we head towards the weekend of action, our last weekend of preseason, things get real very soon. This is Thursday, August the 25th already. Wow, hard to believe. I'm Jim Derry, along with my pal Spencer the Guru Urquhart, and our friend Zach Ewing is out today. His son is having a birthday party, so he figured that was more important than us, which kind of offends me, but that's all right. I mean, if you think your son's birthday party is more important than Bayou Bets, well, then good for you. Anyway, Spencer, let's talk a little bit. Hello, and before we show our promo, just tell us what's going on today.
Yeah, we got a packed show today. Going to be talking about all kind of stuff from getting our AFC South previews wrapped up, and then the Saints game coming up tomorrow, to wrapping up the preseason, and we've got college football week 0, last week of the NASCAR regular season. So we got a lot going on here heading into September. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Uncle Big Nick just couldn't wait. No, Zach, he's going off. He's watching golf anyway. He's not even listening to us anyway. So it is what
the
it is.
betrayal.
All right, let's talk about our promo and our partner. Well, we know who our partner is. It's Caesars Sportsbook. And use the code NOLAFULL to get the first bet on us. Any bet up to $1,250 is backed up. A free bet. That's right. If you don't win, you get whatever you bet. If you bet $100 and you lose, you get $100 back. If you bet $800 and you lose, you get $800 back. If you bet $2.50, you lose, well, you get $250 back as a free bet, all courtesy of Caesars Sportsbook and us here at bet.NOLA.com. Also, there are some more interesting things going on with Caesars Sportsbook. They have a ticket giveaway that you can opt into. Louisiana kickoff ticket giveaway. Tickets to the LSU Florida State game and tickets to, I believe, the Saints Tampa Bay game. NOLA.com/LSU Ticks. Use the code NOLATICKS2 to become a part of that, and you can get that at Caesars Sportsbook. But the one I want to talk about for a little while, Spencer, is one we kind of touched on Monday, and it's an interesting promo bet that they have going on at Caesars right now. The Louisiana bet. LSU and Saints over 14.5 wins at plus 180. That is quite the combo. If you think that LSU is going to win 7 games or more, and you think the Saints are going to win 8 games or more, then you're getting quite a bargain at plus 180. And you can go check that out at Caesars Sportsbook, courtesy of us here at bet.NOLA.com. And really an interesting bet. We talked about it the other day, and, it's almost too good to be true, which scares the hell out of me, Spence.
I know, right? Yeah, I ended up playing it because I just felt like it was just one of those where you just got to do it. The value is just too great to pass on it, because I think LSU wins at least 6 or 7, and I'm thinking the Saints win at least 8 or 9. So the only way it wouldn't hit would be if they'd both be on the bottom end of that. But I don't see both of them having that happen. So I feel like they'll both get. I think LSU's going to get 7, the Saints get 10. I think it'll go well over that. But even if they don't quite hit those expectations, you could still win.
Scares me. The Saints stink. I'm going to lose a lot of money. Hassan, Hello, back to you and your friend Troy Thibodeau.
Troy, what's good, Troy?
What's up, Guru? And wait a minute, we're going to talk about this man in just a little bit. Our old friend Devin Jackson. You can't wait to see those week 0 games. We're going to talk about you, and we're going to talk about week 0 coming up in just a little bit here on Bayou Bets, because there is college football action, live college football that we're excited to get going. I'm just excited that we can stop talking about preview soon and actually talk about like real football and our week to week. Of course, I told the Garland Gillen we recorded Datitude this afternoon actually, and the only problem with starting real football, and you're younger than me, so it won't mean quite as much, but once you start the real game, Spence, you go to sleep on September the 9th or so, and you wake up and it's January 8th. And that really sucks for an old man like me, because I don't have a lot of time left, So, I mean, I'm not willing to just give my time away, but that's what happens. You lose about 5 months in the snap of a finger. That's what happens. So.
Oh yeah, it just fly by. But I enjoy that. It makes the time go by where there's always something going on, and can't wait to get it going. Especially I know Devin loves this college, which gotten
He
in more into
does.
college with with the betting shows and stuff. Yeah, my NFL and fantasy football. That's my bread and butter with the Saints, and then just having my 15 fantasy football leagues. So.
Well, yeah, 15. That's a lot. We'll talk about it. You might have
Yeah.
16 because I'm gonna tell you about another one later on when we're off the air. All right, Uncle Big Nick, we're gonna get to week 0.
Yeah, and our Bet NOLA one,
That's right.
the listener league. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Uncle Big Nick, we're going to get to week 0 in just a minute, and I'm going to put your message up on the screen. But first, I want to talk about the Saints, and obviously, last preseason game for them at home this week against the Los Angeles Chargers. We don't know who's going to play for the Saints, and I don't know that it really matters all that a great deal, unless, of course, you're betting it. I mean, so it's hard to bet this thing, and I've already told this to you guys when we're talking about betting preseason. Hello, JGP. He's ready for a Friday night game, the last Friday night game of the year for the Saints, hopefully, unless we have some kind of weird, I even say it. I'm not going to even talk about it. We can't talk about it. We can't say the H word here. Okay, we won't say it then. All right, so Friday night, Saints, Chargers. Spence, what do you think? We can suspect that Jameis Winston's not going to play. -3, over under low at 36.5. Really not that much different than they've been the first couple preseason games. What do you expect out of this? Obviously, there will be no Michael Thomas, who's dealing with his hamstring injury, hoping he's just out there for the real game against the Atlanta Falcons in week 1. So what do you expect coming into this week?
Yeah, it's hard to know because you just never know who's going to play and exactly how long they're going to play. I'm guessing Vegas with that line's anticipating Justin Herbert's not going to play because, I mean, I don't know why else the Saints would be favored if Herbert was playing. Then I feel like the Chargers should be favored, but they know that
or Austin Eckler or Keenan Allen or Mike Williams.
Yeah, their coach Brandon Staley, he comes from Sean McVay, who believes in you don't play any of your studs in the preseason. So I'm guessing they're gonna take that same approach. So it's tough to gauge it, but I don't know. The way the Saints have looked in the preseason with Ian Book, I'd be tempted to take the points with the Chargers.
Well, speaking of that, Jerry, our friend Jerry, says he doesn't want to see Ian Book play again Friday night.
Well, he's gonna.
Well, guess what, Jerry? It really doesn't matter what you, Spencer, me, Patrick McGee behind the scenes, our new intern, Emily. It doesn't matter what any of us want to see because Ian Book is probably going to play at least a half, if not 3/4 again. And here's my thing with Ian Book. And I've said this a lot, the Ian Book haters. We don't know what we have in Ian Book. You need to see him play, whether you want to see him play. At least the coaching staff needs to see him play. Now, granted, I've also said this a bunch of times. If we see Ian Book, it's because the Saints are in a whole world of hurt. Okay, so it's probably not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. But Ian Book needs to play. He needs to play in the preseason. He's probably not going to make this 53-man roster, but he's almost just as likely to make the Saints practice squad again. And at some point in the near future, there's a possibility that Ian Book will be the second string quarterback on this team, and they need to know what they have. And no one from 8 quarters of preseason football and one game against the Dolphins on a Monday night when they had their third string offensive line and no receivers knows what we have in Ian Book.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I feel like people are a little too hard on the kid because they just want to chalk it up as, he's trash, because they see him struggle in these preseason games. And the one last year was really unfair to hold against him. I am a little disappointed in his preseason performance this year, though. I thought he'd have done a little bit better. I know the O-line's been shaky, but to me, he needs to show a little more. Hopefully he can do better in this one against the Chargers because, I mean, at this point, it's looking like he'll just end up a practice squatter unless he really takes a step forward. I don't ever see him getting another start in the black and gold uniform. But
never say never, Spencer. We may have to rewind this tape 3 years from now if he turns into some starting quarterback. Unlikely.
I was about to say, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. But
it's unlikely.
If y'all want to, then I'll roast me at that point. But I'm just saying he ain't it. He's not the answer.
Okay, well, I don't think we know yet, but you may be right. Nick, Uncle Big Nick loves Ian Book. And the reason why he loves Ian Book is because he's a 49ers fan. So there you go.
Okay.
That's why he likes Ian Book.
I see you being. Yeah, Trey Lance. You need your boy Trey Lance to hit.
Oh, no, I hope Jimmy G is playing week 1. That would be fantastic. I mean, I don't want anything bad to happen to Trey Lance, but let's get Jimmy G in there some kind of way so Uncle Big Nick can lose his mind. All right, this week we talking about our NFL previews. We've been talking about the AFC South, just 1 week away from getting into the NFC South. And the AFC South has been interesting because there has been massive disagreement between me and my friend Adam Chernoff of Covers.com. We'll get to the Colts in just a minute. But when you look at the AFC South and you start off, I think, Spencer, there are two teams, and I'm talking about the two teams at the bottom of this division, the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we previewed today. It's hard to really predict what they're going to do because their over-under win totals are kind of priced in about the right range. You start off with the Texans, who are at 4.5. They're over-under. And I think what we saw from Davis Mills last year and the fact that they improved, and I really think that Davis Mills could be a better quarterback. I think this could be a better team. I'm not a huge Lovie Smith fan. He didn't do a whole bunch in Chicago, but I think it's only a step up from where they were last year. The Deshaun Watson saga is behind them. Maybe they can forget about all that and move on and become a little bit better.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a no play for me because it's one of those things like I feel like with Davis Mills, they've got potential to go 5 or 6 wins, but I also see with them just being very inexperienced on both sides of the ball and not really feeling Lovie Smith as head coach. I would probably have to say under because I just don't really see him doing a whole lot. I know the division's not that great, but when you look at the roster, it's just a severe lack of talent.
Well, there certainly is a severe lack of talent. There's no denying that. When you talk about the Texans, but if you look at their schedule, I mean, it is the 19th toughest in the NFL, which means in the grand scheme of things, it's not all that tough. And you can't play any of these other numbers, Super Bowl, AFC, and even the division at 3,500 if you want to put $2 or $3 on it, and then you can have the ticket and show everybody, hey, look, I predicted the South if the miracles happens. But I mean, well, guess what bothers me more than anything about the Texans is their two easiest games before their bye week, which is an early bye week in week 6, are Jacksonville and the Bears. They could win either one of those games, but the problem is they're both on the road, so they could just as easily be 0-5 as they could be 2-3. And if you're betting over, you got to get at least one of those. And I mean, who's to say they are going to get one of those?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know. I mean, like the Davis Mills last year was pretty nice. I think he'll be the garbage time king in fantasy football for those that play the 2 quarterback leagues, super flex leagues. He'll be in the mix because I mean they've got some weapons there: Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins, the rookie running back Damian Pierce. So the offense could be pretty good there. The more so than everyone thinks they're just total trash, but they've got some pieces.
Yeah, they're only just partly trash. I mean, total trash. I mean, we'll talk about total trash next week when we talk about the Atlanta Falcons, but that's a whole different story. But you talk about Damian Pierce, and I really do like him and what he's been able to do in this preseason. We'll see if he can carry that over into the regular season. But the team that I wanted to talk about more than any other in this division is the Indianapolis Colts. And if you haven't watched our preview video, if you haven't watched any of them, to me, the one to date to watch is the Colts because Adam and I get into it, and I just knew that we were going to. Like Spencer and I said earlier, every professional handicapper, and when I say every, I mean usually it's hyperbole to say every, and whatever. It's not every. I can go find someone. I have not found a single professional sports handicapper that doesn't like the Colts in some way, shape, or form. Adam went as far to say that the Colts are going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC, which I find absolutely absurd. Of course, now, again, I say this with the grain of salt of he's the professional and I'm just the amateur. And if you agree with him, you're getting great value there. To win the AFC, they're at plus 1,300. To win the Super Bowl, plus 2,500. I'm personally not going to be playing any of these. But if you want to go with the handicappers, if you believe like Adam Chernoff believes that they could be the number 1 seed, then that 1,300 is an extreme bargain.
Right. Yeah, because we saw what happened last year with Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee didn't seem that great, but they ended up because of being in the bad division, sneaking the number one seed. So I see his line of thinking here. I just don't really trust the Colts. Especially early on because their big dog linebacker was Darius Leonard. Now goes by
Right.
Shaquille Leonard. He might miss the first few weeks, and without him, I think that could hurt their defense. And Matt Ryan, I know Adam was real big on Matt Ryan, but
Oh boy.
I'm not feeling that as far as him being some elite quarterback. I think he'll be an upgrade over Wentz, but will he be a mass upgrade? Hell no. I don't see him being anywhere close to what they had with Andrew Luck. So I think they'll win the division. I do think they're better than Tennessee on both sides of the ball, but as far as them, the Super Bowl, I don't see it.
I'm not touching any of those numbers, and even to make the playoffs. I mean, it's not this, yes, at minus 160. I mean, there is a decent chance, like last year, that only one team in this division makes the playoffs, because I think you're talking about mediocrity at the top. I think 10-7 is probably going to be good enough to win this division. And the Bills, I mean, people forget they beat Kansas City, they beat Buffalo, they beat the Rams, and all in a 4-week stretch. I mean, so these Titans, who we're going to get to tomorrow on our NFL preview, number 28 of 32, that's coming up. But you talk about the Colts and you look at their schedule right out of the gate. They get at Houston and at Jacksonville, 2 games they should win, but then they come home and play Kansas City and they play Tennessee. And then they go to Denver. So it gets really tough after those first 2 weeks. And I think that week 4 game against Tennessee is going to tell us a whole lot. If the Colts lose to Tennessee at home, I'm going to try to find Adam Chernoff and get him on Datitude.
Right, yeah. Then that'll be, not looking too good there for his things. He was like all in. I was like, wow.
I know, he was ready to fight.
Yeah, like, damn, yeah, because he was saying, he said Matt Ryan was a top 5 trustworthy quarterback. I was like, man, I don't know about all that.
That's a little, yeah. Well, again, you're talking about someone who hasn't, in the grand scheme of things, other than the Super Bowl and maybe the limited playoffs that the Falcons have been in while he's been there, how many times has he really, really watched Matt Ryan play? They're not on TV all that much. I mean, except for the rare good seasons they have. It is
statistically speaking, I get like Matt Ryan's very he's pretty consistent and he's good for fantasy as far as he locks on the one receiver, which is why I'm really high on Michael Pittman for this year. But it's one of those things he puts up the numbers, but sometimes you got to look beyond the numbers. And when you really watch the tape, it just seems like he doesn't come through in the big moments.
And it may raise Nyheim Hines' value because if you look at the Colts receiving core, they really don't have a ton of stud receivers. So I think you may see Nyheim Hines out of the backfield, maybe even play kind of at this, maybe even at the same time with Jonathan Taylor, kind of off in the slot or something, and see him catch passes. I think you could see 50 or 60 passes caught by Nyheim Hines this year.
Yeah, and the rookie Alec Pierce, I really like him this year out of Cincinnati. Yeah, I think he's going to be the number 2 real quick because Paris Campbell never can stay healthy. He's like the most injury-prone player I've seen. He literally gets hurt. He plays 2 or 3 games at the most, and boom, he's hurt. It's unfortunate because I think he's got some talent, but it's just, he just can't ever stay out there. And I think Pierce is pretty talented, and in Atlanta, Ryan could support Julio and Ridley. I'm not saying Pierce is going to be 1,000-yard receiver right out the gate, but I do think he's somebody that's a good bench stash with potential to be a flex play a lot of weeks.
For sure. And, Devin has a comment here. Interesting. Hey, if he says it, you got to go with it. Long shot pick the rookie of the year. Alec Pierce at 80-1. And why not? Again, go throw a couple bucks on it for fun. To me, that's what these futures are for. Unless you're a professional, and even somebody like me who this is what I do for a living and I'm following this and writing about it, I'm not going putting thousands of dollars on these things. I'm trying to spread some things out so where I don't lose my keister if the Saints really stink. But at the same time, I am going to throw some bets out on some other things, but it's not a lot. It's just enough to have interest in and say, these are the things that I'm going to have. Uncle Big Nick says he's going to make the bet now. Shocker. Uncle Big Nick will bet on anything. I mean, he'll bet on anything. All right. So again, if you haven't watched our video review of the Indianapolis Colts, you can find it on bet.NOLA.com, both inside of my team preview for the Colts, which ran yesterday, or inside of Spencer the Guru's Fantasy Outlook, which comes out every day, Tuesday through Friday at 3 p.m. Mine comes out at 8 a.m. Spencer's Fantasy Outlook comes out at 3 p.m. Doing a team each day, Tuesday through Friday, until we finish up. We'll wrap it up a week from tomorrow with the Saints on September the 2nd. You can go back and look at any of the ones that we've done. We've got links to them all over the place. You go inside of any of my my previews, you can find at the bottom, you can find links to the past ones, and then we do a full review of each division on Monday. All right, let's move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, who we previewed today. We will get to the Titans tomorrow on bet.nola.com. We will talk about it again on Monday, which just happens to be someone here's birthday. I don't know who, but another dude turning a year older than he already is. I can't wait. But we talk about the Jaguars, Spence, and an interesting team because I think they have such a wide range of records. I mean, a 1-win team 2 years ago, 3 wins last year with the Urban Meyer debacle. And so I see a lot of amateurs are just rolling out there thinking that Jacksonville is going to be that much better. I get it. They got Travis Etienne back. They have a better receiving core. They have a coach in Doug Peterson that is, to me, obviously an offensive-minded coach who really could help the progression of Trevor Lawrence. And you look at these numbers, and I don't see any value. I certainly don't want to mess with the win total because of the wide range of numbers that they could have. But at the same time, if there's anything I might touch, maybe the plus 360 to make the playoffs because they could make a run. I just don't know that their ceiling is 9 wins.
Yeah. This is. I really like Jacksonville for fantasy and just their overall long-term outlook. I think they've got a lot of potential. Of course, with Trevor Lawrence being an elite talent. I mean, he coming out of college, he was considered the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. So I definitely see him shaking back in a big way after what was a disastrous rookie year. But as far as them as a team, not sure if I'm feeling it. I'd probably take the over on their win total. I know it's one that's kind of like, they're kind of baiting you into it there at the plus 100. But I think I might take the bait for a couple bucks because I think they could definitely be better. They'll definitely be better on both sides of the ball. They added some young defensive reinforcements there with Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd in the first round of the draft. And honestly, as far as the AFC is so brutal, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. The only way they will possibly, though, I think, is if they win the AFC South, which is possible because I don't think either the Colts or Titans are a shoe-in. So I think there could be a little value at that plus 650 to win the division.
Well, Kyle likes to come and bust our chops every now and then in Jacksonville to play.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can say before a season starts. I mean, who would have said Cincinnati was going to go to the Super Bowl last year? Going into the season.
Right.
And no one who in their right mind would have said that. So I mean, it's easy to make fun and laugh, and he says it's hard to be worse. It's really not hard to be worse. I mean, because I'll take anyone's bet right now. Anyone who wants to bet me right now, I'll take Jacksonville to have a better record than Atlanta when the season's over. Anyone who wants jderrytheadvocate.com. Go ahead and write. We'll put you on the show if you want to take a bet on that. So I like I don't know if you're ribbing or you think you're being a smart guy or whatever, but Jacksonville easily, I don't say easily, but it would not shock me, put it that way, if they go to the playoffs. I think, again, there is such a wide range of final records this team could have, and they're in a bad division because I don't think any of the 4 teams in this division are going to be that great, Yeah,
exactly. That's why I'm thinking to win the division, there's value there. I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I feel like at those odds, it's like, I mean, it's possible. And you get value as opposed to Tennessee or the Colts, where it's basically around even money.
I got to put this up. And I assume he's talking about the Bengals last year. Guru, do you know that he predicted the Bengals? And if he was, I want whatever he was drinking or smoking before the season started.
Kyle is, me and Kyle go way back. So he's made plenty of bold predictions over the years. This year, his one is the Raiders. I think he made. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said about the Bengals going far. I'll give him that one. But I'm not going to bring up all the ones he got wrong. I'll save him that.
Okay,
but
well you're
let's
way
just say he
nicer than
loves
I
his
am.
bold predictions.
Ask Uncle Big Nick if I bring up the things that he's wrong about, because we know he's right about a lot of things, but I certainly bring up the wrong things as well. All right, we're going to be talking about the Tennessee Titans again tomorrow on bet.NOLA.com, and again here on Bayou Bets on Monday. So we'll move on. Before we do, we want to take a last look at the AFC North odds. Thank you, Patrick, for reminding me. The Colts at -125, Titans plus 170 to me. Spencer, those are the only two plays really that you can play here. And if you love the Colts as much as Adam Chernoff does, that's not that bad of a price on the Colts at -125. I personally think, and I don't want to give too much away, but until somebody beats the Titans, I still think they're the best team in this division. I get that they lost A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill. People hate Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I guess if I was a Titans fan, he'd probably drive me insane. But they still have Derrick Henry. Their O-line stinks, but they stunk last year. And Derrick Henry still finds ways to make things happen. We'll see what happens coming off this injury.
Right. Yeah, Henry's a very polarizing figure as far as like a lot of people are still drafting him up high, thinking he'll be the old King Henry, and then others are completely fading him. Yeah, I don't know what to think with Tennessee. They're tough. Like I feel like it could end up. I'm off of them. I'm personally staying away. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but it would not shock me if they exceed expectations again, because they've got a good amount of talent there, and they're more importantly they're very well coached. That's their bread and butter with Mike Vrabel, and they do more with less a lot of times. Like last year when Henry went down, no big deal. They just plugged in. Was it Dante Foreman in there? Like just I don't know how they do it, but I think this year it's going to be a little too much. AJ Brown's out. Henry's coming off foot surgery. Tannehill, I don't think is going to play well, because he's going to, anytime he struggles at least a little bit, it's going to be Malik Willis. They're going to be chanting for Malik as soon as Tannehill starts struggling. I think that's good. It could get awkward. And then Trey Burks, the rookie's not looking good so far. So I'm thinking this could be kind of a rough year for Tennessee. It would not shock me if the Colts and Jacksonville leapfrog them.
All right, you and I will make a bet at Parkway. You can have the Colts. I'll take Tennessee. Whoever wins the division, the other one trades. How about that? Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
Parkway.
Football Parkway is a good place. When I moved here to NOLA recently, I went there, and very good stuff. So yeah, let's do that.
Free plug the Parkway. But if you haven't had a roast beef sandwich there, and you live in New Orleans, what is wrong with you? Why do you live here? All right, that's a whole nother story. Titans, their schedule, they open up with the Giants, and then they get a big one at Buffalo on a Monday night. We talk about the game at Indianapolis in week 4. That's going to tell us a whole lot about the Titans as well, at Buffalo on a Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen, everybody thinks the Bills are going 16-0 this year. I don't.
I remember that Jacksonville beat the Bills last year.
That's right, 9-0.
The Josh Allen versus Josh Allen battle. The Jacksonville Josh Allen won out.
Yeah, I think that was the week that I'm in this one and done fantasy league where you pick whatever lineup you want, and you can only use a player once. And so you save Josh Allen for whatever week you think that he's going to go off. So I think I saved him for that week.
Oh,
yeah, that didn't work out very well. And then I also saved Derrick Henry until after he was hurt and couldn't use him. That was also fun. But the trials and tribulations of we go on, no one cares about my fantasy team, as we used to say about on the Duncan Holder show. But they do care about yours. Maybe not all 15 of them, Spencer, but they care, right?
Yeah, and we care about all y'all's out there. So if y'all have any questions, let us know. I just dropped my plug my draft guide real quick. Just dropped that, a 16 round by round draft guide for those looking to get that last minute research in.
All right. Well, we talked about Devin Jackson in week 0, and I hope Devin is still watching, because we're talking in Northwestern plus 13.5, and is in the home opener. Uncle Big Nick says, take my money. Well, we often do take Uncle Big Nick's money, or at least, take just give him a little razzing. But that's just one of the week 0 games. Nebraska and Northwestern, Spencer, in Dublin to kick it all off, get started on Saturday. There are some other ones that I want to talk about that I find interesting, and you can you could pick out one or two that you find interesting. We're going to let you go first because, again, I want to talk about what Devin Jackson likes in week 0.
Right. Yeah, the one that I'm with Devin on. He had pointed out that there could be some value at that Vanderbilt Hawaii game and taking the over. And so I was looking at
I'm
it.
in.
I think maybe a little parlay the Doors -8 with the over. I'm thinking that could be a pretty nice play because I see there'll probably be a lot of points scored out there in Hawaii, and then I see the Doors, covering that. I'm not that confident, but I feel like, I'd probably go with the over as my top play. But if I'm feeling frisky, I'll parlay it.
Well, I'm loving me some. We've already talked about
Yeah,
it.
you love them more
Futures
than
better
me.
than Doors this
That's your
year.
team, man.
That's
You
right.
love
That is my second team this year. I'll be rooting for them to win whatever they can win. And we'll have to pass along that to Zach Ewing, who's doing best bets, I believe, both Friday and Saturday. So he might want to throw that game there. Now you're gonna have to stay up late if you want to watch that game.
Yeah.
I think it's like 10 or 11 p.m. I don't remember what time.
Very late. I think 9 p.m. I think them and the New Mexico
Okay.
State games are 9 p.m. Our producer Patrick would know. We were talking about it earlier.
Okay, well, we'll let him chime in at some point. Week 0, is there anything else that catches your eye? To me, look, I don't bet a lot of college football anyway in the grand scheme of things because I focus so much attention on the pros. So there's not going to be a lot I personally bet unless Devin Jackson tells me to. You tell me, is there anything else personally that you like on this list before we move on?
Well, I'll go with another one of Devin's recommendations here with the Wyoming as an underdog. Wyoming +11. I could see them covering for sure because Illinois just they don't do it for me. I mean, I just know they're near the bottom of the Big Ten, and so when Devin pointed that one, I was like, yeah, I could definitely see that because Wyoming's a team that's generally pretty competitive, and Illinois that's kind of wide considering they're usually not too good.
Well, Spencer, you got a disagreement here. Uncle Big Nick loves Hawaii at home getting a touchdown. Vandy got to prove they can cover that. I don't think so. If I were going to bet one, that would probably be the one that I bet. Well, I mean, now I'm going to bet the over because Devin said to bet the over. But if they had to pick a line, a spread, I don't necessarily think Vandy. I mean, Hawaii is not supposed to be very good this year. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I may actually stay up and watch part of that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to have to, man. The Doors, that's your team, so you're going to have to stay up.
I don't know, though. I mean, when you get old like I am, you have to hold your eyes open at some point. All right, let's move on from week 0 of college football. We want to talk a little bit, very briefly, about the NBA. Devin says Vandy has an underrated defense. He just chimed in. So there you go. But I do want to talk about the NBA and some odds, and we're going to just briefly touch on this. I don't think there are people running to their phones to bet on basketball right now. But if you are, there may be some values here, some interesting numbers along these lines. I don't think you get any value at the top from the Celtics, Warriors, Nets, Bucks, anything with a single digit on it. I don't think you can bet now. So maybe the Suns at +1,000, Spencer. Even the Pelicans at +3,500. I'm not sure there's a value that at that number. That number may go up because I think they have a fairly tough first part of the schedule. And whenever you're picking futures, especially this early, I also recommend that you do go look at teams' schedules. And if there are teams that stand out, like I don't know what their schedule is, but let's say Golden State had a tough first 8 games, and there's a chance they could be 5-3, and you get their number to go down to +800 or +900 because everybody likes to overreact early in the season. So pick a team that you like. If they have a tough schedule, wait and bet them maybe a week or two into the season starts.
Right. Yeah, it's just I'm not personally placing any NBA futures right now, but if I had to pick one, I'm gonna see. I'll throw a little bit on the Mavericks there at 22-1 with Luka.
I like that too.
I think they've got a lot of potential. I mean, shoot, they made the Western Conference Finals last year unexpectedly, so I think they could grow and do better this year. So yeah, I think there's a little value to be had there.
I'll stay in the West with you. Also, besides the Suns and Pels, maybe just a couple bucks here or there. I also like the Grizzlies. I think they could. They showed last year how good they can be, and they have plenty of talent. And I think that 2,000 could be a value later in the season where you can, you get the right value, you get in a spot to hedge later on, you can make money no matter what. And that is always fun when you can hedge and you know you're going to win some money no matter what. All right. Before we finish the show, I want to wrap it up with auto racing and golf. I'm going to let you talk about auto racing because that is your forte. Golf is mine. We have a slide for NASCAR and the racing. What do you like this week in the Coke Zero Sugar 400?
Yeah, this is the last race before the playoffs at Daytona, and man, trying to handicap this is, this is one that it's like just throwing darts at a board, man. It's just hard to get anything to stick. I mean, it's just the Daytona races are just so hard because there's so many lead changes throughout them, and that if I had to pick though, I'm not gonna go on about it. I personally am not a huge fan of Daytona. A lot of NASCAR fans love Daytona, but I don't really care for it. I prefer the more traditional racing. But if I had to pick a couple drivers, Bubba Wallace is the favorite I'd pick. I feel like he's pretty hungry to get a win. He's been performing better lately, and this is one of his better tracks. Also, William Byron at 14-1. He's been in a bit of a slump lately, but he's another one that seems to do well here at Daytona, and goes for any of these guys. They just got to stay out of trouble. But I feel like with the way Wallace and Byron consistently run up front, that their odds of getting in a wreck, I feel, is a little less. So I feel better about picking them as opposed to, like, I don't know, Kyle Busch and Martin Truex tend to get in a lot of trouble at these plate tracks. They don't sit there because they do better at the other kind of tracks. I would fade them for sure. The only reason they're at that low is because they're big names. Their odds should be a lot worse than they are.
Well, you got to find some value somewhere in everything. And so,
no value with those two.
That's for sure. All right, let's finish up the show by talking about golf and obviously the PGA Tour Championship going on right now. The big winners of the day thus far are the ones that have played the best so far. You look, and Scotty Scheffler, like I said, there's not a whole ton of value going into this week. If you want to bet on Scotty Scheffler, you kind of have to hope that he doesn't have a great day today, and maybe you can get better value. Came in at plus 250, excuse me. Well, he's plus 125, and he's not having a great day. So at no point are you really going to be able to bet on Scheffler in this thing. Really, your best bets are the guys that had great days today, and that's Matt Fitzpatrick. And he is right now, he's plus 900 on Caesar. He's shot 600 today. He's at minus 9 overall for the tournament because they get an advantage going in. Scheffler started off at minus 10. And also, Joaquin Niemann had a great day. He also was minus 6. He stands at minus 8. Good value there, plus 2,000. So if you're looking to bet a little golf and you want to go find someone, although you might be a little aggravated, you could have had Neiman, I think, at plus 8,000 before the tournament started. He's now plus 2,000, but hey, why not? If you're looking for value, why not? I'm sorry we don't have a slide for that, but it was kind of a last-minute thing. That is going to pretty much wrap up our show. We missed Zach today. We're going to have our final thoughts. Spencer, yours first.
Yeah, I'm just ready for football, man. That's about it. Just trying to see if we can, finally almost through these previews. Be glad when that's done because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little burnt out. I love doing them, but it's just, they just get to be a lot. So yeah, definitely excited that the real thing's coming up. Got a lot of drafts going down this weekend. Like I said earlier, check out the draft guide, check out the previews. We've got you covered. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna fly by. We're gonna wake up in September and then won't wake up again until January because it's just it's insane the amount of stuff going on. But yeah, but I'm all for it, man. That's what we live for. That's what we get paid to do. So let's get it done.
Uncle Big Nick wants you to come to our draft as a silent partner. You are not allowed to at our draft. You can. Unless you want to just come and hang out. You're not sitting by Uncle Big Nick.
He whispering to him.
No. We'll let him stink up his own team. We don't need him to get any help. He's already got Patrick Mahomes as a keeper. We don't need to do that. That's for sure. My final thoughts. Tomorrow is an interesting attitude with Garland Gillen of Fox 8. We talked about it a little bit. We kind of get into everything. We actually talk about prep a little bit. Garland is the lead prep guy for Fox 8. He's the lead LSU guy for Fox 8 Sports and all the different things that they do there at Fox 8. We love them, and we have him on the show tomorrow. Great talk about LSU and talking about Jaden Daniels, which we didn't really get into enough. I wish we would have. That's my fault for skipping over that, Patrick. We skipped over that, but we spent plenty of time talking about LSU, the Jaden Daniels and the Garrett Nussmeier debate on quarterback, and there you go. There's the line, the spread. Next a week from Sunday, and it'll be on ABC at 6:30. Well, also, Spencer will be out there on Saturday to do a show at Harrah's.
Oh, yeah.
That's do a big show at Harrah's a week from Saturday. Help open up their new sports book. And then on Sunday, we're going to be doing a show from Champion Square, and I believe they're going to be trying to figure out how to broadcast the audio out to the crowd there, because I'm sure that's the crowd wants to hear you, Spencer. I mean, you, Zach, and I talking about LSU. But why not? We're going to have fun doing it. We're going to make a fun deal out of it. So
yeah, we have our Bayou Bets little mugs and stuff. We're going to be all decked out, ready to go. That's going to be awesome.
I mean, we may even, who knows, Uncle Big Nick might be there. Maybe he'll get on camera. We'll have to figure that out. But so Data 2, we also talk about Garland and I go through some of the positions on the Saints. And there, Uncle Big Nick, I knew he would weigh in. He says maybe he'll make an appearance, drive up the crowd, I'm sure. But also we go through some of the big positions. We talk about quarterback. We talk about Ian Book. And we talk about some of Garland's guys who may make, right on the cusp of making this team, the guys he thinks will make the team, and some of the guys he thinks won't. It was a very interesting interview that's coming out tomorrow morning. Datitude usually comes out about around 10 a.m. And then next Friday, I have not confirmed it with him yet, but I think we're going to be doing live Datitudes on Friday mornings at 9:15 a.m. Jeff Duncan and I are going to partner up, and we are going to just have fun with it. And that is going to be every Friday morning at 9:15, our live shows. I believe it's going to start next Friday, September the 2nd, which happens to be the same day that the Saints preview comes out. So we'll be previewing the Saints and giving our predictions, and who, by then we'll know the 53-man roster, and we'll know more about Jameis Winston and his health and Michael Thomas, and have plenty to talk about. So that should be fun. We are looking forward to talking to you about that then. And Zach Ewing will be back on Monday, and I want to know who's bringing me my birthday cake on Monday. I'm waiting, guys. Don't forget. For our friend behind
the North Shore.
That's right. For our friend behind the scenes, Patrick McGee, or for our intern Emily, we thank you for helping back there today with Zach being gone. We will see you on Monday. This has been Bayou Bets. Have a good weekend, everybody.